program will begin shortly. Enjoy. أن تستمعوا إلى قطاع الهواء. سيبدأ البرنامج قريبا. استمعوا.
بأن أبات نذود ذود القشاع نحن الذين وطئنا بالخيل عرش الأعاجم
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Brain on Air. I am your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. And at the end of the day, it's night. Happy Thursday. We got a fresh slate of stories for you. You know what I mean? It's a good one for today. Honestly, it's a little bit. I'm gonna be real with you. It's been a dramatic one. We have a nice collection of stories for you today. I got like a solid portion for you. It's like a nice little scoop. I'm the lunch lady. You're in line and you're that kid and you look at me and you're like, I know you're gonna hook me up, and I'm like, I'm gonna hook you up. And then you see that I get that nice scoop of turkey a la king for you because you know I hook you up every single time. Welcome back to your Brain on Air, people. Let's just hop right into it. We had the El Azhar intro music because, you know, we wanted to be appropriate. Congratulations to Zora Mamdani. We understand that the Islamic call to prayer will be broadcasting for New Yorkers every morning here pretty soon. We're looking forward to it. So we just wanted to go ahead and be compliant already. Good morning, New Yorkers. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring in the show with that every now and then because I want to be very appropriate for the city that I'm broadcasting in. I was planning on doing it anyways because I assumed that Omar Fateh could be the next mayor of Minneapolis, but thankfully enough, we have avoided that fate. Folks, welcome to another episode. Let's hop into our first story, which is. This happened literally as I was about to record today. On November 6, 2025, a dramatic medical incident unfolded during a high-profile White House press conference at the Oval Office, where President Donald Trump was announcing a groundbreaking deal to slash prices on popular weight loss drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound. You know those ads. If you have Hulu, you know exactly which ones I'm talking about. There's Ozempic. You know, and then there's, they all for some reason are themed after like those weird kind of boomerish, I think, 1960s to 70s, 80s rock. I don't know, it's weird. And then it's just like, by the way, you see the people in the ads and they're still kind of fat. Like the people in the ads that are taking these weight loss drugs are still like more often than not still built like a guy who like changes your oil. It's still concerning to see that their necks are still blending into their bodies. It's freaky. But you know, what kind of weight loss drugs are you really sending people? I'm just concerned about that. The event was dubbed the Most Favored Nations announcement, featuring executives from major pharmaceutical companies like Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and alongside the Trump administration officials, including the Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., future president, and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz. Holy shit. Yeah, God, it's weird to see Dr. Oz, like, in the lineup of government officials. I'm not even going to lie to you. If you know anything about RFK, you know that he's a political figure. He's been there for a while. He has a reason to be there. Then you see Dr. Mehmet Oz. Dr. Oz was on the show that, like, my grandma would smoke cigarettes around me when I was a kid, and she'd put on the TV, and she'd just smoke around me, and she'd go, like, this is very good television. And she'd put on Dr. Phil, and she would give me a Pepsi, and she would load up my brain with sugar, and she would smoke a cigarette, and I would get that secondhand nicotine high, and I would just sit and I'd take in all that, the people yelling at their moms and whatnot, just like the classiest shit. And my grandma, she would be like, this is what the real world is. People are really like this. And I'm like, I appreciate that, Grandma. Thank you for telling me. She was a very, very cultured woman. She knows so very much. She's very just like wise beyond her years. Anyways, as Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks spoke about the agreement, capping monthly costs at around $150 for many patients, a pharmaceutical executive standing just feet from Trump suddenly collapsed, sending shockwaves through the room and halting the live broadcast. The individual was quickly identified by reporters and photographers as Gordon Findlay, executive vice president and head of U.S. operations for Novo Nordisk, a Danish company behind Ozempic and Wegovy. I think that's the problem. He was taking some of this shit and it melted his brain from the inside. That, or you're going to see the video. People said that he's standing feet from Trump. I'm thinking it was a hypersonic wave. Like, you know, those, because people talk about Cuban syndrome. They talk about, you know, the thing where CIA agents, they get this thing, Havana syndrome, where they get like a blasting headaches all of a sudden, and it's because these people sit in cars outside of their apartment buildings and shoot this laser ray at them that like messes with their fucking heads and shit. I'm thinking that some other country, maybe the Russians, have this device where they point it at you and it scrambles your fucking DNA, or it's like a radio wave that just goes and it like sends a microwave at you at like a I don't know how to describe it, and it just fries your ability to conduct yourself. This man literally looks like someone took his spinal connection from his brain to control his whole body and just severed, and he's just like, he just fell down and collapsed. It was ridiculous. Eyewitness accounts described Findlay as buckling at the knees and falling backward, but Dr. Oz sprang into action, catching him to prevent a head injury. Good for Dr. Oz. With the assistance from other attendees like Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, the White House medical unit responded immediately. The press were swiftly escorted out for privacy as the man was attended to. Video footage captured chaos, a gasp from the crowd, Trump's concerned glance, and by the way, he looks at this guy for a minute, and then he's like, oh, well, shit, that's crazy. And aides rushing in with the feed getting cut abruptly before resuming minutes later. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, addressed the incident shortly after confirming a representative is with one of the companies has fainted. The White House medical unit quickly jumped into action, and the gentleman is okay. Novo Nordisk echoed this statement, noting that Findlay was in a stable condition, although initially denied his presence before clarifying. Trump himself downplayed the scare, telling reporters post-event that this man was fine and sent out with doctors, adding that with a lighthearted quip about the intensity of negotiations. No further details on the case, speculated by some to be heat, standing fatigue, or other unrelated health issues. Nothing has been released respecting patient privacy protocols. You know, good for them. I'm glad that they're respecting this guy's privacy. Let's go ahead and let's just take a quick look-see at how bad this was.
President, for again demonstrating that you fight for every American, this time for potential. It's now my sincere pleasure to first introduce Dave Riggs from Lilly, and then Mike Dusto from Novo.
Shit.
Great, thank you, Chris. It's truly an honor to be here today.
Some guy tried to shake his hand and then he
for
just
this
grabbed his
historic
arm.
step forward to expand access to a class of medications that can fundamentally change the arc of chronic disease in our country. Of course, these are the incretin or GLP-1 agonists that we've been speaking about. For nearly 150 years, my company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today, are you okay? Were you okay?
I love how RFK walks away. And then Trump looks around and he's like, well, shit, that's a little crazy, isn't it? All right, and then the New York Post has Trump sharing an update after the Pharma executive collapse.
Well, thank you very much. One of the representatives of the companies, one of the companies got a little bit lightheaded. You saw he went down, and he's fine. They just sent him out. He's got doctor's care, but he's fine. So we had a little bit of an interruption. Sorry for that. And I think we can just begin again with Eli Lilly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And again, I was saying it's an honor to be here because this action today will really begin to change the arc of chronic disease in our country. Lilly's a 150-year-old American company, and we're committed to advancing science, investing in research, and building really high-value jobs. But today, I want to start by thanking the many Lilly scientists who pioneered breakthroughs like the ones we're talking about today.
All right, anyways, so you got that. That's pretty interesting, is it not? You know, Best wishes to the executive. As of late afternoon, he has been released from the on-site care and has been reported to have made a full recovery. Good for him. So I guess that's not necessarily newsworthy. Wouldn't it be newsworthy if he had passed away? That's regrettable to say, but it might be true. I don't know what to say. Anyways, folks, I think that we need to read an ad. As a matter of fact, this is a little awkward because I worked with Eli Lilly to get this advert going, and I'm sorry. I don't know why these people keep working with me when they just so happen to want, they can't keep their public image clean at the same exact time. It's rude to me because it makes me look like a crook. But anyways, are you tired of carrying around all that inconvenient body mass and your will to live? With Slimfinity, you can achieve that hologram chic silhouette you've always dreamed of. Just one weekly injection of your appetite, digestive system, and possibly a few vital signs will disappear in perfect harmony. Side effects may include the sudden realization that you've traded your pancreas for popularity and an intense desire to lecture others about discipline, and the haunting whisper for your long-lost metabolism begging for carbohydrates. Don't worry, Eli Lilly, their team of scientists, accountants, and PR professionals are working tirelessly to ensure that the only thing heavier than your medical bills is irony. Ask the doctor if Slimfinity is right for you. Spoiler, your doctor's stock option says yes. Because in the modern world, nothing tastes as good as quarterly earnings. Man, thank you, Eli Lilly. We really appreciate it. Let's move on to the next story. Media news, folks. I'm going to go into something a little lighter because we can't always talk about, hell and people getting hurt and, general disasters. We have that a lot in the news these days, and I don't love talking about that. It does give me the opportunity to talk about things that get a lot of eyes, and not eyes, but ears to the broadcast. So, that is... I'm not going to say that these things are bad for business, but I'm going to say that we kind of like talking about them. But I'm going to talk about something that's a little lighter because I noticed that a lot of people, they're not always here for the ache and the anger and the whining and the complaining about the world. They're also here to talk about the interesting things that may be going on in the world. So, media news for the week, folks. A Michael Jackson biopic has a trailer finally. And in other news, in gaming related news, GTA 6 has been delayed to November 2026. This is breaking, folks. This is breaking because this literally broke the New York Times, not the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. I can't get these fucking people right. But they broke the news at 3:05. I'm recording this at 3:36. It is literally, I'm getting this out as soon as the news has broken. Rockstar Games confirmed that Grand Theft Auto 6, originally slated for fall 2025 and then rescheduled to May 2026, will now launch in November on the 19th, 2026. The studio cited the need for extra time to polish the game, ensuring it meets the massive expectations built around the franchise. Folks, if in case you didn't know, according to a very reliable leaker, I'm not going to say who because I don't know the exact source. But trust me, this is just the voice that's going around in the community, and the fact that people saw this delay coming from miles out should let you know that this leaker is pretty reliable. This game will not be done for a while. I highly doubt they're going to make the November 2026 release date because, according to high-up leakers, according to people that are really deep in with Rockstar North, according to people that are in deep with this gaming company, this game has been in development hell, where they do not have an ending to the story written yet. They are still working out 4 out of the 6 chapters that the game was originally going to be told in. They have no idea how to wrap this whole thing up, and they apparently, and this is according to a lot of chatter, and this is getting into the area of a little more, maybe not. But according to voices on the internet, this is according to people that are just like, whatever. They're saying that this company is also delaying it due to the fact that their ending was predicted by major communities on the internet. And as a result, they are trying to clean it up. They're trying to reorganize themselves. And that's according to certain people. I'm not saying that's the most accurate take, but I do know for a fact that this game is not going as smoothly as they want you to think, because they will show you I will show you trailers that are just like beautiful. We could be so hot together. They can show you all of those beautiful shots of the in-game Miami. They can show you the mountain range. They can show you like the rednecky parts that just look like North Dakota. Like, they can show you anything, and it's gonna make your nerves be calmed a little bit. But make no mistake, these people, Rockstar Games is an Australian-founded company. You can never trust the Aussies. This is just, I'm not racist. This isn't there because they're not a race. It doesn't count. The Aussies are not one to be trusted. Listen, they give us grand things. They give us Hemsworth brothers, but admittedly only one or maybe two of them are worth anything. And TF2, that's about it that the Aussies have given us. Like, they give us, and Love on the Spectrum when it was in Australia. But that's about it. I can't think of anything else. I love that country, and I would probably move there after the United States falls. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen. But in this news, this marks one of Rockstar's longest delays ever, pushing the title over a full year past its initial window and reflecting the growing complexity and scale of modern AAA development. Not Alcoholics Anonymous alpha mode. It is a AAA development gaming. If you're not familiar with gaming terminology, neither am I. But apparently AAA development, that is like, I looked it up. It's kind of like the people that are like upper echelon. They're like the establishment folk. They're the people where it's like, yep, those are the move makers in the industry. You know, once you move, there's like two main categories that I've seen. This is from my limited knowledge of the gaming world. There's like indie, and then there's AAA. There's like people that are just kind of working on their own, and then there's like established companies. There's also like Red Barrels, where they made like Outlast, where it was like a bunch of people from established AAA media developers coming together to formulate a company, and then that created a company, and then those people were kind of existing in the middle. Their last game, the Outlast Trials, kind of sucked, I'm not gonna lie. It had no lore, it had no interesting gameplay, whatever. My point is, this marks a very interesting point in development in Rockstar, because these people are seen as go-tos. But listen, folks, I have parents that were old enough to remember when GTA Vice City was coming out, San Andreas, all of those ones were coming out. I can't remember exactly which one my stepdad was into, but my, what's it called? It's one of those three. I can't remember. It's in the bundle release. Maybe it was GTA 3. It could have been any of them. But anyways, this is the announcement came during a Take-Two Interactive Q2 earnings call, where the company reported $1.96 billion in bookings, beating expectations despite the setback. However, the delay immediately hit investors' confidence, causing Take-Two's stock to drop 13% after hours tradings. After hours tradings. Goddamn, I'm retarded. Analysts have pinned much of the company's FY 2026 growth on GTA 6, so the shift slashed revenue forecast by hundreds of millions, even as the ongoing titles like NBA 2K25 and GTA Online continue to drive strong recurring income. GTA Online, they are really going for. Like, it is something that they've invested in hard, but they still provide no good updates. What's it called? For fans, the wait extends a decade-long anticipation since GTA 5 was in 2013. So it's been over 12 years, people. Many support the move as it means a more complete experience. Rockstar has a history of delaying flagship titles to deliver quality. GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 also had a history and benefited from the extra time, with GTA 6 poised to redefine the open-world gaming with the Vice City-inspired setting. The studio is prioritizing perfection over deadlines, even at the cost of short-term financial pressure. Okay, good for them. If they want to take that angle, it's going to disappoint a lot of people. In other news, about another thing that might disappoint a lot of people, the upcoming biopic, Michael, dives into the extraordinary life of the king of pop, tracing back to Michael Jackson's journey from his childhood days as a pint-sized frontman of the Jackson 5 in the late 1960s to his groundbreaking stardom and tragic death in 2009. Directed by Antonia Fuqua from Training Day and The Equalizer, the film is written by Oscar-nominated screenwriter John Logan and promises an intimate, unflinching portrait that humanizes but does not sanitize the icon's triumphs, struggles, and controversies, like his legal battles, family dynamics, and creative genius behind hits like Thriller. With a hefty $155 million budget, it's produced by Graham King alongside the Jackson estate co-executors John Branca and John McClane, ensuring authenticity through the estate's involvement. Jafar Jackson, Michael's real-life nephew and son of Jermaine Jackson, is making his acting debut in the lead role, channeling his uncle with the uncanny resemblance in his dance moves, vocals, and mannerisms. Let's take a fucking look. So he's throwing on some headphones.
I know you've been waiting a long time for this.
I know you've been waiting a long time.
Tracks are made.
Is that supposed to be his dad?
Songs are ready. Let's take it from the top.
Okay. The guy who did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Your story.
Oh.
Honor your past.
Got to be starting something.
Future. That's what people want.
All right. Cool. Miles Teller? Why is Miles Teller in this?
Q, can you lower the lights for me, please?
No, that's for me,
But
please.
remember, in here, keep those feet still, my man.
What? So apparently they had to do a lot of reshoots because they covered the sexual misconduct allegations, and then after that, the the Jackson estate actually did have quite a few problems with it. Shut up, Daft Punk. Why are you playing right now? That is not respectful of you. Anyways, they had some issues with the Jackson estate. The Jackson estate goes ahead and they say that we're gonna sue you. We don't like the fact that you portrayed him authentically or whatever. We don't appreciate the fact that you talked about his issues with kids, with Macaulay Culkin. You know what I mean? Just like not that he accused him of anything. I'm just saying that like he was uncomfy around these kids. He was weird. He was bizarre. He had weird behavior, and it's not odd to say, but. Here is just a brief summary of what the situation is from what I saw.
The entire third act of the upcoming Michael Jackson biopic has to be reshot over a legal dispute with one of Jackson's accusers. In case you're not aware, a Michael Jackson biopic from director Antoine Fuqua is coming out later this year. The movie was initially supposed to come out in April, but was then delayed to October. And according to industry insider Matt Bellamy and his Puck newsletter, that's because Fuqua and writer John Logan have had to rewrite and reshoot the entire third act of the movie. You see, that part of the film was reportedly about the 1993 investigation into Jordan Chandler's claim that Michael Jackson sexually abused him at 13 years old. But the MJ estate apparently forgot that it made a legal agreement with Chandler's family years ago that it would never include them in a dramatic reenactment of Michael's life. Unfortunately for the filmmakers, the entire end of the movie revolved around Chandler and reportedly worked very hard to portray Michael Jackson as innocent. And now all of that is unusable. Fuqua and Logan reportedly just finished the script rewrite and will soon head into reshoots.
Well, listen, if they're looking to humanize him, if they're looking to make him go innocent, listen, maybe he is. Who are you to say? Did you make anything the half as successful as him? If you're an MJ diehard, mark your calendar. This is poised to be a moonwalk right into the cultural conversation next year, folks. keep an eye on it. You know what I mean? I don't know when it'll be released because they keep on delaying it. Whatever. Let's just jump right into the rapid fire section of today's headlines. Folks, you already know what it is. I'd pick 9 or 10 or 11 or so of today's headlines that I can't write a whole fucking thing about. That is just like, you gotta know about it to keep yourself healthy. The U.S. is to cut 10% of flights at major airports due to the shutdown. The Federal Aviation Administration is to reduce air traffic capacity by about 10% at some of the nation's busiest airports starting Friday, and the federal government shutdown continuing. Still the longest one in history. It hasn't stopped being that since the last time you heard. Nancy Pelosi! I miss you, Queen, and I always will, because guess what? She has announced that she will not seek re-election in 2026. The longtime House leader has announced that she will step aside as congressional candidate, signaling a major realignment within the Democratic leadership in the United States House of Representatives. Hakeem Jeffries has been the speaker for a while. You old bat, go back to San Francisco and, do what you do. That's what, go get haircuts during a pandemic like you did. The world's biggest polluters largely absent at the start of the COP30 summit in Brazil. The global climate conference kicked off amid alarm. Major emitter nations are underrepresented at the planet, and the planet is already headed for the 2.5 Celsius warming scenario, far above goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. That's not fun. The Bank of England holds a rate of 4%, signaling possible cuts as inflation retreats. The central bank kept interest rates unchanged, indicating inflation has peaked, but economic growth remains weak. Markets are now expecting cuts as early as December. You know what I know about the Bank of England? I watched Mary Poppins when I was not very young, when I was actually very old. When I was about 20 years old was the first time that I ever actually watched the movie Mary Poppins, because I'd never seen it before. Well, actually, I'd seen bits and pieces of it before. I sat through some of it, but I'd only ever watched it all the way through about then. And, the only thing I know about the Bank of England is from that movie, because they mention it a fucking lot. It's kind of, I'm not even gonna lie, it's like a propaganda film for the Bank of England. You put a pence in and it'll be $40 billion when you're old. Solar storms / flares and auroras sweep Earth during the supermoon. The supermoon skies were lit up by auroras and a series of coronal mass ejections, CMEs, from the sun reaching Earth, raising potential for satellite and power grid disruptions. That's not fun. Get a micro radio. Immigration and deportation changes. The U.S. to end protections for South Sudanese immigrants. The United States Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has announced the temporary protections for nationals of South Sudan will end, meaning many will become eligible for deportation within 60 or so days. That's good luck to the South Sudanese that are in this country. I don't know how many of you listen to my show, but best of luck to you. Drastic arms cache recovery and security operations in India's Manipur state. Security forces recovered a large cache of foreign-made rifles and ammunition in Manipur, India, while also arresting interstate drug traffickers. Good on ya, folks. That's good. Typhoon Kalmegi kills over 100 in the Philippines ahead of COP30. Well, that'll really get their message across. Use that, climate people. Use the weather to kill more people and then get the climate agenda across. Global tech industry, AI capex surges, capex and whatever. I'm pronouncing it right. And big tech moves in data scraping dispute. Major U.S. tech firms are investing heavily, 380 or so billion in 2025 to beef up AI infrastructure. At the same time, Amazon.com Inc. issues accused Perplexity AI of unauthorized data scraping from its platform. Well, how does it feel now? You know how it feels now. Amazon, whatever. I don't care. I'm saying it like it's immigrants. I love it. Folks, our final story of the day, because it's a beautiful Thursday and I don't want to take up too much of your time. Senator John Kennedy has pushed to halt congressional pay during the shutdowns. On November 4th, amid the ongoing United States government shutdown, now the longest in history, over 36 days, Louisiana Republican, probably my favorite senator, John Kennedy, introduced two bills designed to withhold paychecks from members of Congress until the federal government fully reopens. As a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. He's a part of the Apparitions Committee. He's a ghost, gentlemen. Kennedy framed the legislation as a matter of accountability, arguing that lawmakers should share the financial hardships faced by unpaid federal workers, troops, air traffic controllers, and essential employees. If we can't do our jobs and fund the government, we don't deserve a paycheck, plain and simple. Kennedy stated in the Senate floor speech, emphasizing, quote, missing paychecks or empty dinner plates shouldn't be used as political leverage. The first bill, the No Shutdown Paychecks to Politicians Act, takes a straightforward approach. It would immediately suspend salaries for all members of Congress during any lapse in appropriations, with no provisions for payback once the shutdown ends. This measure aims to create distinct incentives for quicker resolutions by eliminating compensation entirely for the entire duration of a crisis. Kennedy highlighted its simplicity, noting it echoes a 2013 proposal by President Obama during the previous shutdown, which he credits with prompting Congress to, quote, find religion and reopen the government promptly. Cool. To navigate the potential constitutional hurdles, specifically with Article 1, Section 6, requiring congressional compensation, and with the 27th Amendment barring midterm pay changes, Kennedy's second bill, the Withhold Member Pay During Shutdowns Act, S. 3057, offers an alternative workaround. It requires House and Senate payroll administrators to place lawmakers' paychecks into escrow accounts during a shutdown, holding funds until the start of the next Congress, which could be months or years later. This escrow mechanism ensures that pay is deferred rather than denied, preserving the legal compliance while imposing a long-term pain. A companion bill to the escrow measure was introduced by the House Representative Brian Steele from Wisconsin, a Republican, who echoed Kennedy's call, quote, if service members and federal law enforcement are working without pay, members of Congress should not be paid either. If you're not familiar with Senator John Kennedy, he's known for many famous lines. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play his quotes on the floor so that you can get a feel for what he's saying.
Be uncharacteristically brief. Tomorrow I will be bringing two bills before the Senate. They both have to do with the shutdown and congressional pay. The first bill is the No Shutdown Paychecks Act. The second bill is the Withhold Member Pay During Shutdowns Act.
So this gentleman is very old. He's very curmudgeonly. I love him. Personally, he's one of my favorite senators. You will see why. Here's a brief collection of some of his favorite moments from me.
You hate cops just because they're cops. The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on the shampoo bottle. When you have hypothermia, you don't strip naked and run in the snow.
Right.
Senator Schumer never makes the same mistake twice. He makes it 5 or 6 times just to make sure he got it right. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Republicans aren't perfect, but the other side is crazy. These people are about 10 exits past normal. The party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor and puberty blockers. They're screaming like Musk stole their dog or something. Just from a political standpoint, you never interfere with your enemy when he's kicking his own ass. They're worried that she doesn't. They're worried that she was that kid in grade school who ate paste. People are worried that if she walked by a polygraph machine, the dang thing would explode. He basically used the Democrats as a chew toy. If you think this list is real, you probably think that Elvis is alive and running a small bait stand on Lake Erie. My Democratic friends, Brian, seem determined to find out what it's like to be a Jets fan. It sounds like the game room of a mental hospital. They're so upset.
Folks, he's a fun fella to keep your eye on in case you like a little relief from the politics of today. He shoots off little fucking lines that he clearly has to read off of a cue card. He's grumpy, he's old, and he's a Kennedy. That's some of my favorite things about that you gotta be. Ever since we lost Ted Kennedy and his big alcoholic face, I miss it. Ever since he killed that woman in a car. And you know what? I mean, you know what? We'll talk about Ted Kennedy another day, but folks, this has been a wonderful episode. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a 10 out of 10 episode. We will be back at it again Friday, and then Monday after that. Subscribe if you want more, like if you liked it. In the meantime, this has been Ollie Vogt Larson with Your Brain on Air. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.